Hi there. Today we are going to talk about digital escape rooms. This is a fun way to keep students engaged and interested in the concepts they are learning, but while they're also investigating their path of learning and the information that's provided to them. It also helps them to develop those higher level thinking skills and those questioning techniques. So, a breakout room, many of us have seen before. It's often includes that box, and you get different codes to try to open the box. And it can really be on any topic. So, at the top, we were using a math breakout, and then down at the bottom, we tied it all into a glow day. And so it was about digging deeper and not getting lost in all of the outside details, but really focusing on what's important. So, digital escape rooms are very similar to a breakout EDU and to scavenger hunts. So, instead of having actual locks, students are getting codes to go on with next steps and get the next piece of information. So, instead of using actual locks, you can use Google Forms. So, again, digital escape rooms, it really helps with team building. If students are in a virtual environment, this is a great way for them to be able to interact with their classmates and have a collective task for both of them. It includes technology and it makes it just more fun and interesting for students. So, students, when they're working on a breakout, it should be helpful for them to work without so much teacher guidance. And so that's good for virtual learning or asynchronous learning in general, but there's an opportunity for teachers to give hints. So if students are in breakout rooms working on this, they might be raising their hand and asking for help. And the hints, rather than just giving them the answer, you can say, did you reread the passage? Look at this part. Did you solve this correctly? What is this really asking you? What's your strategy? And it encourages the students to think back and to look back at what they're actually trying to solve and how they're doing it. So, my biggest suggestion in preparing for an escape room is for teachers to try it themselves before you actually assign it. It To me, it feels like a lot of moving parts and the puzzle has to be put together in a certain order. So as much as I will plan it and think, oh, I have it correct, I really need to go through it to make sure that I'm not missing a step or a detail or one little clue or that clue doesn't make sense. And again, discuss the escape with students. Emphasize how they'll fill out the form. So when you set up the Google form, as you know, when students submit the form, it will usually say, like, thank you for your submission. Click here to submit another one. But you can change that message. So that message could say, if you set it up as a quiz, that your answers are correct. Like your first clue or your first code to the digital lock is one or is the color blue, something that's giving them the next steps forward. Um, if students get it wrong, the message at the end might say, go back and try this again, and not necessarily give them the right answer, but know that they need to keep working to solve the form. Also, if you are going to be using outside sites, make sure that they work on a student's computer, especially if you're doing this asynchronous. It can get kind of frustrating for kids if they feel like they are racing the clock, but it's not working, and that might kind of halt the attempts for them. So, puzzles and clues. So, you want to be able to have different memory games, quizzes, music. So again, using the Google form to unlock the locks, if the code the students enters again is incorrect, it will give them one set of directions versus if it is correct, it will give them the next step or the code to unlock their virtual lock. When doing a breakout room, whether it's digital or in person, I always highly recommend students to take notes because it's all about the little details and then making sure that they're not missing something. And so those notes are excellent to have to go back to look at. And it's also interesting to have those notes and to start to learn the importance of note taking and gathering information and being able to go back and reflect on that information. So if you look in this, so if you look at this website, you will find in the middle is the presentation that I just had. Also, if we look at this, it will teach us how to really build a digital escape room, and you can find all kinds of options um, online and sample breakouts. I always suggest, as we all know as educators, when you're starting something new, to start with something that's not even necessarily academic or a higher level skill. Let them get used to that problem solving and the not really having all of the answers right in front of them and not having it be yes or no, but to really work through it. And then they can understand the process. Breakouts always start with some sort of story, and it's like a creative story. So we had Wreck-It Ralph before breakout of the video game and steal some of our numbers. So it was affecting our place value. Or it could be that, as it says on here, a Mario Brothers theme, or you could be trying to break out before the electricity goes out or something, some sort of fun scenario. Um, then you're going to match it up with the passwords and those virtual locks and different clues. So you might give a poem, you might give a math problem, it might be a puzzle that they have to fill out. So here are different types of puzzles and activities that students can do. So if they then enter it correctly into the form and you set it up as a quiz, then you'll be able to decide whether they have it correct or they need to go back and try it again. Thank you for joining our Nibble and Note.